Did you first grow curious about the paranormal? Dare you dig deeper? You are listening to House of Asher.
And welcome back to a new episode of House of Asher. I am your host, Steve Asher, and with me is my guest, Nisi. How are you doing tonight, Nisi?
I'm doing very well. How are you tonight?
Pretty groovy, pretty groovy. Sitting here, it's about 11 p.m., and got the Night Stalker, Cold Check the Night Stalker, the episode with the vampire. I forgot the name of this one. But anyway, that's sort of off in the background over there. You may hear things a little differently. We're trying out some new equipment, and we were trying to work through some audio bugs. We were having some gremlins in the system, but hopefully things are a little bit better. How are things on your end? Let's check let's hear you say something. Make sure your mic is up and good and hot.
Well, other than the really cold weather, I'm actually pretty happy about the break in the cold weather. It's getting warmer. We had a bit of trouble with pipes and things, but, we're all right now.
And when you say problems with pipes and things, we had a literal, how do I put it? Have you ever seen like a waterfall that freezes and it kind of runs down the side, or maybe through a country road that's been cut through rocks, and you see like where water seep through, and there's these little rivulets of frozen water, and it's like a frozen waterfall. That's what we come home to. We had been working at our day job and come in, and the heat was out, and so everything was frozen, and the tub was frozen, and the drain was frozen, and pipes are fun, especially in wintertime. So there's that. Luckily, we figured something out. You can actually get all your water out. This is what we did. We put a bunch of salt, and we put rubbing alcohol, because basically, like, de-icer is like 2 parts rubbing alcohol, I think 1 part water, and I think a little bit of dish soap. So, but we kind of went not dish soap, alcohol, and lots and lots of salt. And then once it started kind of breaking up, I plunged the heck out of it. Isn't this entertaining to hear about me plunging a tub? But anyway, that's some of the stuff we've been going through, and one of the reasons we've not been on a whole lot lately. So we've been trying to do a lot of extra work to cover all the stuff we had to replace here and there, and we've kind of been locked in snow here. It's been pretty freaking cold, right?
Absolutely.
So, what did you say the temp was tonight?
27, I believe it was.
27. That's Fahrenheit, and not everybody does Fahrenheit. Obviously, we're one of the few that are still kind of avoiding the Celsius. Like I don't think there's anybody else, maybe other than America. If there is, leave it in the comments on YouTube, which I should probably say. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, my goodness, Spotify, all kinds of different stuff, and our flagship station, which is Para UK Radio. They carry us worldwide and simulcast through them, and we're, as always, in their debt. We're just kind of a small local show from Western Kentucky, but they're really cool, and they give us a chance to get into a lot of ears that may not get to hear some shows from the region, and which is pretty neat. I love listening to I love a lot of British shows, and so for me, it's great to be on a station that's kind of based out of Britain. So I really dig that. So what was something, like, did you have a show or something that you really dug, like, or a movie or something that was kind of based maybe out of Europe or England specifically?
Upper England.
Or England. There's Upper England. There's northern England, and there's like southern England.
Well, I don't remember where it took place, but one of my favorite movies is Megan is Missing.
Oh God, that's a heart-wrenching thing. And that's funny that, well, there's nothing funny about this the movie. It's horrible. I probably should have also added, if you're interested in following the show, the House of Asher podcast, if you're interested in any of my books that I've got put out, or any of the other kind of stuff that I do in regards to that, and what me and Nisi are up to, you can go to this is all lowercase and together, SteveEAsher.com. That's SteveEAsher.com. And you can follow all that cool stuff there. Or just Google. I'm on there. So anyway, Megan is missing. Megan is missing. Oh my God. Based on true events.
Absolutely.
Elaborate.
Okay. Megan is Missing there's two girls. One of them's wild, one of them's bookish and more of an at-home person. And they're best friends. The wild one starts talking to people online and meeting up. And, she's a party goer and everything like that. So, she meets up with somebody she does not know and disappears. Well, the best friend has an idea that she knows who took her. They don't really know the person who was behind it. They were a catfish, obviously. But he ends up catching the best friend too. There's videotape on what he'd done to him. It's very horrifying. Odd as it sounds, I had let my kids, after they were old enough to watch horror movies and stuff, see that movie and tell them that's why they never need to meet people online.
This was connected with like a senior trip, right? Or was it a senior trip or freshman college? They went to I don't want to, okay, I don't know if I say a town and it's not the town it happened in, please don't freak out on me, okay? So if I say, oh, was it Cancun? It was some sort of vacation spot.
No, this was their hometown.
Wait a minute. I thought they went on a vacation somewhere. And
I think you're thinking of Wolf Creek, sir.
No. Isn't Megan is Missing where they... Wait a minute. What's the movie where they went on a trip and then one kid didn't come back and they had to leave the kid and the parents were trying to find the daughter? And remember the teachers had to leave? What was that? Was that Wolf Creek?
No, Wolf Creek takes place in Australia.
No. These kids all went on a senior trip or something, and they went. It was somewhere where they would let 17-year-old kids drink, and they were in a club, and they were meeting some guys, and this one guy was kind of a douchebag, and I don't know if they got the girl, gave her some sort of roofie medication or something, and then they couldn't find her. I swear to God, we watched this. Do you not remember this?
Touristas? But they got the brothers and sisters and friends, too.
Oh, and the one guy said, I had to bring you here.
Yeah.
That's how he said it.
Yeah, he didn't want to, but his uncle made him do it.
Yeah, because it was some sort of hoodoo stuff, right?
Yeah. They were harvesting organs from touristas.
Harvesting organs from
tourists.
From tourists. Was that based on a true story?
I do believe that is.
Is that the Megan is Missing one?
No, that is a different one.
What am I thinking of? What freaking...
okay.
No, what movie is that? Now it's going to bother me.
And it was, they were on summer or spring vacation.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were on some sort of everyone's graduating. Let's do a big thing. And I don't know if they were like honor students or something. But anyway, they went to another country, and it's you can look at it as a cautionary tale about traveling anywhere. And that's not to sound xenophobic, but you don't know the locations, you don't know the people, you don't know the culture, you don't know the good things to look out for, and you don't know the bad things and the people that are going to set you up, which are everywhere. So this has nothing to do with cultural biases on anything. It's just, it is what it is. But, yeah, Megan is Missing was, God, I couldn't finish it. Could not finish it. I cringed the whole freaking time. It really knotted my stomach up. I couldn't watch it. It bothered me. It bothered me a bunch. But while you're thinking about that, one of the other ones that I kind of liked, and anybody that's involved with the paranormal and whatnot, it's like certain people who remember the Travis Walton story where it talked about being, the fire in the sky and the whole abduction thing. Some people believe them, some people don't believe them. Some people don't believe, Albilic. They don't believe. Oh my gosh, who's that Area 54 guy? I know this guy's name as well as I know my own. He was a scientist, worked in S4, didn't actually work in Area 54, worked in S4. Leave it in the comments. I know, I'm a moron. I'm a moron. But it was, what's his name? Anyway, point was, he had worked in this area and stuff like that. But some people just don't believe it. If you look at the Conjuring stories, which, depending on how you feel about the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren, of course, that ties into Annabelle, the haunted doll, and it ties into a bunch of other stuff. What's your take on those movies, which are supposed to be based on true events, too?
See, a lot of them I didn't realize were based on true events. I will say that I'm a big horror movie fan, and I like to be scared. So, I can't imagine having lived through that. Or even watching a movie based on your horrific events.
I was a big, and as you know, anybody that listens to this, excuse me, was and am still I guess I should say fan. It's changed over the years after doing my own paranormal investigations and whatnot. But Hans Holzer. Now, a lot of people said, he was a sensationalist, and, Amityville Horror 2 was just off the rails, which, it had Diane Franklin. She was super awesome, super sweet lady. But it was a really twisted up story and had to do with weird family interactions. I got to be careful the way I word things because it'll flag me on the algorithm and stuff. It sounds like I'm saying any sort of thing jacked up. But weird family interactions, if you know what I mean. But he was the first investigator. They would call him America's first ghost hunter. And the Warrens were kind of the template for sort of a Catholicism-based, what's the word I'm looking for? Demonologist team. That's their vibe. They were demonologists. And I've seen a lot of different things. Did you ever see my Amityville Horror that had Danny, the son, Danny Lutz, and it showed him years and years later. I think I showed it to you, and I said he looks a lot like my brother Mike.
I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah, and do you remember when he was talking to Lorraine Warren? It was I think before she passed, and it was just different. It was just so weird to have someone with a house full, which was his name, Zaphis. He's got tons and tons of haunted objects and things like that. I've run across a few things myself, but I generally don't feel a house full of really heavy objects like that. But all that stuff's supposed to be based on this, and investigations and whatnot. We'd mentioned the Amityville Horror as well. I know I'm saying a lot, and I apologize. I'm just trying to formulate what I'm trying to say. But do you actually think it happened? Do you think it's BS? Do you think something happened, but they've inflated it a little bit more? Because certain things, regardless of what happened, you have enough interest in it, it becomes its own entity, pardon the pun, and it has sort of a legend of its own, and it doesn't matter what the truth was, what the truth isn't. It just keeps going, and it keeps going. What's your take on that?
Well, I think most movies based on true events have to be amped up so that they captivate their audience. But I also believe that some of the horror that happened cannot be truly portrayed.
Some of the horror cannot be truly. Well, what do you mean by that exactly?
Take the Amityville, for example. What that family went through, you can't smell what they smelt. You can't.
Got you. Right. There's certain things
feel
that have
the
to be
buildup of the electricity.
Right. It's almost like in radio, and something you hear like the clop 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 walking. Oh, do you hear that coming down the hallway? Oh, what's that strange shadow coming coming down the wall? Or, what's that strange pipe tobacco I smell? There's a certain, like you said, you don't have all the senses. We're not jacked into films like that yet, but there's certain things that they're going to have to amplify to get the point across of the severity of it. But I don't know, it's weird. I know people that swear up and down that that's absolute gospel, and the stuff that happened there was 100% factual. Then you hear a lot of people go, "Nah, it was the George Lutz and his wife sold it to a book company or whatnot." I don't know. So I mean, I'm not gonna. And if they did, they did. Whatever. I don't. I look at it like this. I know people are people, and I know when people wave money in front of their faces, especially if you've got a house full of kids. Sometimes you go, you know what? Yeah, we might. Why don't we get rich off this? And no harm, no foul. I know ghost hunting purists lose their crackers over this stuff and flip out, and it's kind of like getting mad over someone talking about Star Trek and bring up a wrong model warp engine. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, pull it back. Understand that, like, the movies were movies. There weren't documentaries. They weren't a case study, right? This is This is for entertainment. Well, you're talking about the books which was, as far as I know, hopefully not based on true events, was it. And in the book, there was like I feel like I'm talking about some really jacked up interactions today, but like the interactions between Bevy and the boys, they could not, the intimate aspect of before they went down into the sewers, and they said, well, how can you get close? How much closer can boys or girls be? And it says, well, you've read the book, right?
Actually, that was when they were lost in the sewers, and they could hear it laughing all around them.
Thank you.
And they were panicking, starting to fall apart, and Bevy did the one thing that would bind them back together.
Okay. And we won't mention that because, again, I don't want to get bumped off YouTube. Anyway, yes, you could not put that, I don't think, in a movie. No, I don't think you could. It would just be too much. But there was actually another movie that tied in with Stephen King that was supposedly has to do with actual stuff, which was The Shining. And The Shining happened, good Lord, I'm trying to remember the name of the hotel. Do you remember the name of the hotel?
Ooh, give me just a moment.
It was in Colorado, I believe. What was the name of that? What was the name of it, people?
Oh, it's out there. Just a moment.
It was the Stanley Hotel in Colorado.
Yes, that's it.
And this is apparently based on true events. I think Stephen King had stayed there. And, again, Stephen King purist, forgive me. But he stayed there, and I don't know if he was wrote in this particular room or for whatever. Anyway, and I don't know if he had some paranormal experiences or some really jacked up dreams. I have no idea. Which I think this is quite a while before Maximum Overdrive, so I don't think he was doing the white powder yet. But, so this should have been relatively a mellow time for him. But, that being said, he attributed that book and later film adaptations to weird things that happened there, which I know he absolutely hated the Stanley Kubrick, adaptation of it, but that's neither here or there. But yeah, it was all kind of tied in with that. Even people said Child's Play was based on real stuff, which I'm not a big fan of moving around dolls and whatnot. Trilogy of Terror, you remember that? It had the little Zuni fetish doll on it.
Absolutely.
It's creepy, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would have been terrified.
It would have been a terror. A terrible. It's terrible and terrifying. Terrible. I just created a word. Yeah, it would have been mas no bueno for my Spanish-speaking compatriots, which I'm sure I butchered that.
Muy.
Muy.
Muy no bueno.
Muy.
Very no good.
Muy. No. Muy. Muy.
Actually, it would be reversed in Spanish.
Okay. I don't speak English well, much less Spanish.
That's okay.
I know cerveza and how to count to about 6 and a little bit of Livin' La Vida Loca. That's about it. But yeah. Supposedly that was based on some freaky doll stuff. And there's a lot of weird stuff. Do you remember when I told you about Dead Ringers, the movie with Jeremy Irons in it? He plays twin gynecologists who do really, really messed up stuff to their patients. Cronenberg, which The Fly and he was in, remember him? He played Decker in Nightbreed.
Did I watch Nightbreed?
Yes, you. How do you not remember Nightbreed? Midian. They were running around. The guy runs into the graveyard, gets shot. He turns into a monster.
That one.
The guy carves his face up. Remember that guy?
Yes, I remember that now.
All right. There were these two twins, Elliot and Beverly, and they were both gynecologists at the same practice, which is weird. And apparently, Elliot tended to have affairs with his patients. And it's just really weird. So there's this oddball, codependent thing. And supposedly this was all, all connected with this. It is, and supposedly this is a straight up factual thing. So there's that. Can you think of any other ones that I've not thought of? You mentioned Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek was, that made me cringe.
More than Megan is Missing?
Yes.
How can anything make you cringe more than Megan is Missing?
Okay, Megan is Missing. You saw the end effect of what he had done to the girls. On Wolf Creek, you saw what he was doing to the girls. It was not...
Like in real time, like you were seeing through the eyes of the guy perpetrating that.
A lot of it, yes.
Was it... I don't remember seeing this. Like, you remember when Michael Myers in the first movie, little kid, he put on the clown mask, you could see him walking through with the eyes, and kind of hear him breathing in the mask. Was it like that, or was it like...
Like you were a spectator and seeing, okay, it's going to get sort of gruesome.
Well, don't get too descriptive.
I won't, but he mutilates them.
Fair enough. Yeah. Oh, yeah, but that would suck. I mean, you get into anything like Grindhouse movies, that were extra bloody, extra violent. The Gates of Hell. Okay, you just recently seen that, like a classic Italian horror film. Remember where the priest hangs himself, and then people see the priest and they start crying and they start. Well, I mean, they fall apart. They basically are vomiting up organs and stuff. It was pretty dark.
Yes,
especially for the time. And yeah, that was. Honest to God, the funnest part of that, which if you can say that's fun, was watching you going, oh my God, what is, ooh. That was real fun for me. That's the best part.
Yeah, I had to grab your hand and hold it tight because that was just gross.
Yeah. Scary and romantical, guys.
And this, guys, is why you watch scary movies with your girls.
Correct, Amundo. Or if the guy's a little bit skittish, and girl can be brave, whatever, we support it both. I'm trying to think there was another one you were talking about. What was it? Well, Mothman Prophecies obviously was based on the story of there was a Mothman. Well, they talk about it. Oh God, was it South Carolina? Where was it at again? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. Well, the thing is, the Mothman type creature has been seen over in eastern Kentucky as well. And it's okay. So, more or less, it was just really weird because supposedly this thing appears before any time there's accidents and all this kind of crazy drama. But then there's also towns in Kentucky, which I don't know any way of saying it's not without plugging it. In one of the Curious Counties of Kentucky books I did, it touches on that county, and it talks about how this creature is seen in Kentucky as well, because there's just a river, separating the two. So it's trippy. And again, that's another reason I like the story, because it does tie in with Kentucky, and I'm a Kentucky guy. So, but yeah, that was pretty screwed up. I'm trying to think of one more before we wrap this up. Trying to think. Okay, you found something. What'd you find?
Hoboken Hollow.
Okay, what do you know about Hoboken Hollow?
That basically these people, they keep the travelers passing through and make them work for them. That means that they might make them fight to the death for entertainment.
That makes me think of the Bloody Hell movie we watched, which I don't know if that was true, but that was a pretty jacked up movie. Anytime you get cannibalism and stuff, and it's pretty trippy. Anyway, but no, I was just thinking of that because for me that would be off the hook. That'd be super creepy. Is there something you can think of or you want to mention before we wrap this up?
No. Is there anything you wanted to mention?
Other than it's been a very cold one, guys. Everyone's dealing with the COVID. Everyone's dealing with the flu. Recently had a scare of that recently, and thank gosh, come through it okay. But please take care. Please be mindful. And take precautions, love one another, and just make sure to spend some time with your loved ones. And always tell them you love them. We're not guaranteed another 5 minutes, much less another day. So please take that in consideration. And beyond that, Nisi, I guess we're moving into the end of it.
Okay. Good night, everyone, and be careful out there. Have yourselves a very, very nice weekend. And back to you, Steve.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. End of another fun-filled episode. But, I want you guys to go up there, depending on where you're at, go up there and enjoy that sun in your face. That's it.